Hi. So today's episode I'm going to be talking a little bit about how you practice, like proper practice techniques when you're trying to develop a skill. I'm also going to give another quick update on electric flow and talk about GDEX, which is coming up very quickly, only 4 weeks left. So hope you enjoy. So because it's still close to the beginning of the semester, I decided to talk about something else that I bring up with my students at the beginning of each new class. And that's about some best practices for skill development. Now this applies to any kind of a skill, not just art, not just music or anything like that, although it does apply to those. Even just in general education, it's important that we look at it as skill development. And so as part of that skill development, there's some better and some not as good ways to be able to pursue that. In a lot of cases, the knee-jerk reaction for students is to hold off until the last minute and then cram everything in at the end and try and get it, done and turned in. And although that may allow them to get an assignment complete at the last moment, it doesn't help with their long-term skill development. So it's important that when you're developing a skill, you need to look at it as something that has to be developed over time. A good equivalent of this is like going to the gym to work out. If you go to the gym and you work out a little bit every day, it's going to be a lot more effective for you than if you go on 1 day a week and then just really try and cram everything in over the course of 6 or 7 hours. Because what that's going to do is, even though yes, you're getting in the time in the workout, you're trying to do too much at once, and there's a certain capacity that your body can handle for that type of workout and that type of growth. You end up crashing, and the rest of the workout, yeah, you're putting in the time, but it's not as effective. The same thing is true with any type of skill development. So for example, if you want to start drawing, trying to draw all at once for a long block 1 day a week is not going to be nearly as effective as a little bit every day. And the same is true for any type of learning or development. If you want to learn something, like for example, if you're trying to learn math, if you're trying to just cram all of your math work in on a single day, it's not going to be nearly as effective as if you do a little bit every night. Because your body needs time to rest. Your mind needs time to rest in between sessions. If you're practicing a little bit, studying a little bit, working just a little bit every day, and then you give yourself that time to rest, your body has time to digest information. Well, your body and mind have time to digest information. In the case of something that is a physical activity, such as drawing, it also allows your body time to rest, your muscles time to rest, and it gives you an opportunity to recoup and to better understand what you're doing as you're going into the next time trying it. And so then you go into the next day and you a little bit more, and the next day a little bit more, and you slowly can develop and build up a skill set. Whereas if you limit it to once a week just to get a project or something else done, it's not going to be nearly as effective. You're also not going to be as prepared for it. Once again, back to the exercise analogy. If you go to work out and you do it once a week, you're going to probably hurt yourself. Whereas if you're doing a little bit every day, you're taking the time to do stretches and warm-ups, and you're doing what you should to get into the groove, do enough to, stress and tax your body so that it can develop muscle and grow. And then you give yourself time to rest, then the next day you do the stretches again, you keep going. And so if you do have an event where you need to really do something powerful, something that takes a lot of exertion, your body's better able to handle that. The same thing is true with any other type of skill development. Yes, you can potentially get a project done, but it's going to cause a lot more strain, a lot more pressure, and you're not going to be nearly as prepared as you would if you take a little bit of time every day. So the way this applies to my classes is that I have my students review a little bit of what we've done in class that day later on that day, but then I tell them not to touch it again. Like, leave it alone for that evening. The next day, go back over the information, start practicing some of the tools and techniques, and give yourself a little bit of a chance to review it and get into it. And then you put it away. And then the third day you come back and you start your assignment, and then you break that up over the course of a couple days while giving yourself a day or two at the end just to make sure that you've got some leeway in case something comes up. And that way, the same assignment that otherwise they would just do like the day before, is something that they work on throughout the week. It gives them time to digest it, to understand it, to do a much better job at it, and it gives them that opportunity to develop muscle memory and to develop a skill set that becomes highly functional for them, something that they can use going forward. So I encourage you in your own skill development, make the time to do just a little bit every day. If you have more time, great. You can build up and start doing more and more every day if you're really trying to hone a skill set. But don't try cramming it all just at one time, like, oh, finally Saturday, it's the only time I have to work on this, and then try and get 5 or 6 hours straight, because you're not going to be as effective and it's not going to work out as well for you as if you said, okay, I will have a nice 3-hour block on Saturday, but building up to that, I'm going to do some exercises, I'm going to do some brainstorming, I'm going to, work on the skill set somehow during other days of the week, but reduce the time so it fits in your schedule, and that'll be a lot more effective for you. So, quick update on electric flow. We are still working on the system. We've actually, in getting the level 4 dialogue in and reviewing some of the systems we have, we're adding one more that's going to be an early warning system, and a warning system for when things are going wrong with the circuits, so that you'll have just a little bit more feedback. So we're trying to get that implemented before we push out this next build. For GDEX, once again, this is the big Game Developer Expo that takes place in Columbus, Ohio every year. This is our 5th year, and it's getting bigger and better all the time. We have some amazing speakers. We've got some great events, so if you're able to make it, I encourage you to come. It's the end of September and the beginning of October, so check out the website and see if you can get your tickets. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.